Sun's faded on a beautiful afternoon here at the SCG, and everything's going to plan for the Sydney Swans. Lance Franklin will take part in the second half, we understand. 43 points the margin, and this is a fantastic story as well.
Yeah, the key part of those touches is he had a great first half, 6 score assists. That's the possession that absolutely results in the score. So the second last possession prior to the score being achieved. The record in any one game is 11, held by Geelong's Stevie J, and we haven't even had as many as 8 since 2011. He's had 6 in the first half, chasing the all-time score assist record, Kieran Jack.
They've got some quality finishes as well to help him out there. And the Crows hit back, otherwise their top 8 spot could be in jeopardy. And the Sydney Swans looking to lock up a top 4 spot with 5 rounds left in the season after this weekend. Secondary ball up.
We posed the question of Franklin being rested, but, well, for our enjoyment at least, we get to see him because it might be more highlights. He is out there and obviously feels the back's okay and they're not going to do any further damage.
High tackle on Charlie Cameron. Coming off a 4-goal game last week. He needs to get motoring. And Tex Walker, the captain, in game 100 also needs to get his skates on.
That is an outstanding kick from Charlie Cameron.
Didn't see much of that in the first half. Adelaide's kicking was poor. They were going at not much above 50%, the Adelaide Crows, but that was terrific. Tex Walker hasn't been able to free himself up much, but he took a good contested mark late in that second quarter. Can he kick his second?
He had the first shot of the game and missed narrowly, and that was huge for momentum. First shot of the second half, bends back, but another miss.
They got the centre clearance as well, which was critical because the Sydney Swans was 7-1 for centre clearances in that second quarter.
25th possession for McVeigh, who's having a night out as well. Turnover, little fumble, but mopped up in the end and slammed forward by Smith and Eddie Betts. To the pocket, sees the lead through Jenkins' hands.
I think he misjudged his jump then, and he's a little slow to get up.
Yeah,
I wonder if he's rolled the ankle.
Didn't get off the ground as well as he would have hoped.
Kind of stumbled when he went to jump.
Did.
Still got it inside 50. Jacobs down. Lyons couldn't get it on his boot. Lynch shrugs the tackle high. He played on. Now will he get his kick back?
Yeah, rightly so.
Okay.
Deserves to get it again.
Absolutely, but
what if it had gone through?
The umpire said high tackle, and he still elected the kick.
Correct.
And you're right, if it went through, he would have got to keep it.
I think the whistle was nearly in the act of kicking, though. Certainly at the start of the act, so I'm happy with that for it to go back and have another shot. What do you think, Jace, if it had gone through? What would have been the ruling? It would have come back for the set shot.
I'm assuming Tom Lynch didn't hear the free kick, because knowing you've got a set shot, why would you try and snap it like that off one step rather than go back and have the set shot?
You can be guaranteed it would have stood if it was a goal.
Yeah, but it wasn't called from the umpire in the stoppage, though. It was called from the central umpire.
For Adelaide's sake, and in some ways the game's sake. Good start to the second half is essential, and he sneaks it in, his second.
Well done. Good finish there. Deserved the free kick. The tackle slipped up high. I think it was McVeigh that slipped over top of Lynch. He was able to go back and kick that goal. He just said here, no, sorry, it was Parker, so it was a free kick. Now, he did play on, but it was a late whistle from the umpire in the centre square. Good kicking early by Adelaide. They've been able to straighten that up. They won the first centre clearance. They're looking with a bit more energy here in this third quarter as opposed to what they came out in the first half with.
And the hush falls over the SCG.
The Adelaide forwards are trying to pull away from the centre square line, create a bit more space.
Jacobs and Tippett. Brown, Thompson, he missed his target. Jack tries to fend off and flicks it to Lloyd. Kennedy to finish it off. Ton of time, ton of class.
That was all created by the centre bounce there, wasn't it, Jace? Where if you want to keep handballing backwards, you do it at your own peril. And Adelaide continued to handball backwards. The Sydney midfielders that started in the centre square kept forcing their way forward, kept pressuring the Adelaide ball carrier. Eventually, it was a bad handball made. Really good finish there by Josh Kennedy. But Adelaide's still got to be proactive, still move the ball forward. They'll be disappointed with that mistake because they had the run of play the first couple of minutes of this third quarter.
Back to a 42-point margin, and another horrible ball up to restart it, so they'll restart the restart. Kurt Tippett dancing around the circle, and against him Jacobs dances around Jacobs. Jacobs wins it, but down to Mitchell. Caught on the kick. Hanbury can't mark it. Lyons, Smith, Henderson couldn't get his arms free, manufactured a kick. Hanbury gets on the end of it. Knight causes the spill. Everything under pressure. Lyons, handball. Sloan can't get on the end of it.
But that's the difference. When Adelaide tackles, Sydney is still able to release the hand pass.
And Reid got away to hand it off to Shaw. Jetta's already kicked one on the run from there. Goes central, and that's a good pluck. McGlynn back into the lineup this week, and he has been sensational from the opening seconds.
It's been really good, Dwayne. He's started a lot at half forward, hasn't he, Jace? Where McGlynn has came up into the stoppage. Good mark. It's been a great inclusion.
Coming in for possession number 12.
And he's one of those in the 22 still fighting to win a premiership medal. He's got a 5-goal game against the Adelaide Crows to his name as well. And he sprays that.
What about the kick again by Lewis Jetta across his body? Forward stream. We saw he was able to hit Lance Franklin that second quarter. Did the same again there, where he whipped it across the body. Really hard for the Adelaide defender to cover that.
Still a ton of time left in this. Long launch to Jacobs. Tippett had the run on him. Got a knuckle on it to Hanbury. Shaw, Kennedy, Shaw. Did he show the Sharon out there? He's just trying to turn around, ramping.
Use it as an anchor weight, I think.
I think so. He's been the Shaw of old too. The last 2 weeks he's been back in some sort of form. Jetta short. McGlynn a little slip. Brown can't mark it. Still danger. Tippett, Hanbury, Heaney, Kennedy. Nankervis strolls in. And it bounces on its end.
Another classic example, though. Kennedy's still able to get the hand pass out when collared in the tackle. Hits the target. They get the shot at goal. Every time they've been able to free up their hands, the Swans. But when it's been the other way around, the Crows have been unable to get an effective hand pass away when tackled by the Swans.
Henderson, little inch, little juggle. Runs on, turns inside rather than outside. Now Dangerfield's free at half forward. He can go. He's almost within range. Sits it up. Goal square. Didn't go for home. Richards.
That was half a shank, the kick from
Grundy. Dangerfield just over his head. Bounces. Hunts down Lloyd.
Dwayne,
Rampy. And there's a huge round of applause here. I'll let you explain, Jason.
Well, this is systematic applause from the Swans cheer squad, and it's generated through all the Swans supporters. The 7-minute mark of the third quarter in honour of number 37. They're showing their support for Adam Goods. Fantastic gesture.
So play continues, but it's a standing ovation here at the SCG. And Adam Goods, if you're watching, this is for you. Everybody wants you back to football.
Yeah.
Everybody wishes you the best. And when I say everybody, have a look at this.
So a minute's clapping in the 7th minute of the third term for the number 37.
Play continues with Douglas. But there is bigger things on people's minds than football this week. And right now they're showing exactly that. McKay, good tackle by Smith, dragged down.
I mean, that's a lucky free kick. The hand pass was disastrous. It gave him nowhere to go. Put him under enormous pressure. And there's another one.
Douglas through Thompson. Laidler. Back inside to McGlynn. Options either side. Lloyd. Here's Franklin. Up. Got a little arm knock.
Oh, nearly could have got a free kick.
Talia. Knight. Right. She's got Sloan short. Puts it in front. Back to right. Can they complete it? Here's the money kick.
Well done. Good kick.
And good kick too. Charlie Cameron.
Well, they've held their own in this third term. In fact, they've had as much of it as Sydney, they've had some quality inside 50s. They just need to finish off. Need to make sure they've actually had 4 inside 50s apiece. It's 39-31 the possession, so they're holding their own, but not making any ground on the scoreboard.
Kicking the ball a lot better.
Yeah,
this
79%.
We're in the famous Andrew McLeod, number 23, of course, and he can't nail it. So here's the placard. He came in, this gentleman. There was support everywhere for Adam Goodes. There was a lot of T-shirts with the 37, jumpers with the 37, and it really was a celebration of Adam Goodes and football in general today. There was no friction in the air whatsoever, and it's just fantastic to be here and see this. Big one to Smith's jaw.
Well, I think Parker had his eye on the footy, and he was going out with the arm to fend off. He didn't realise he caught him right on the chin, though.
It was an accident, no doubt about it.
He's got a bit of concussion history as well. Brodie Smith concussed big time earlier this year.
Great kick.
Dangerfield held.
It was a great kick to the advantage of the opponent, and Rampy felt the only way he could stop him taking a mark was to hold on.
Well, in some ways, they haven't.
Another good inside 50, another opportunity, Dwayne.
Yeah, they haven't been in it for a quarter and a half, Adelaide, and yet they're not completely out of it either. We've got Lance Franklin, who looks a little hurt with a back problem, who may have to be subbed out early.
Can Dangerfield deliver the kick they need? We've seen Walker miss one early from this side. Charlie Cameron just missed one from this side. This is a tougher kick than both of those.
It's been an outstanding form, Patrick Dangerfield. Coming off a 36 possession game. He's been the general. As he sat that up, amazing that he didn't go for it, really. Or
well,
did he go for it?
He went for it, because you don't sit it up near the point post, Wayne. Yeah. He was sitting it up, it would have been 15 metres out in the corridor.
Grundy. Heaney with Brown. Good use of the body. Good use of the Sharon to Lyons. Thompson. Cameron in a one-on-one. Laidler wraps him up, gets a fist on it. Eddie Betts lurking, tried to knock it to his own advantage. Nankervis caught, dropped it. Betts still hassling. Douglas.
Got in their way, got in each other's way, the Crows.
Smith, Cunningham, Shaw. Told to get going. Tight ropes the boundary line. And a good mark, Henderson. Halfway through this third term. Still a 42-point margin.
Bad kick.
And Grundy cuts that off with ease.
It's the last place on the ground you want to drop it.
Yep.
Centre half forward. Easy rebound now. Sydney can set up and run.
Kennedy. Oh, inside with ease again.
That was poor.
McLean.
Really poor tackling attempt by Knight.
And here's Jack. Will he have another assist here? Will he give it away? No, he'll go back and have a shot. Captain today.
He's given enough away. He deserves to kick one himself here.
And the two co-captains for this team, Kieran Jack and Jared McVeigh, having a fantastic night at the office. Did say last year that leadership and passing on the culture of this club is his responsibility. Can't slot that.
Good transition again, though, from half-back, wasn't it? Once the error occurred, the Adelaide Crows' poor kick into the centre-half forward spot. They moved it quickly and efficiently into a marking target deep inside 50. Probably should have been a goal. He'd be disappointed with that kick, Kieran Jack.
Saw John Longmire not completely at ease yet. And that's an indicator of the day. There is John Longmire. I was disappointed that David King didn't wish him happy birthday during that pre-game interview.
Wayne.
Not game day, Dwayne. Not game day. All right.
Very good.
Great to see the horse back with his team in front again. Dangerfield gets it out just in time. Knight towards Lynch.
Good body work.
Grundy. Rampy. Laidler. Bicklin. Pulling them apart at the moment. Dangerfield. Turnover. Douglas. Thompson. There's a free kick behind play, and I think Patrick Dangerfield has been dealt with behind play.
See, this should be 50 metres. This is where they changed the rule a few years ago, where Gary Ablett was taken to the ground in the grand final. Dangerfield disposed of the ball, then was taken out. That's a free kick and 50.
The umpire actually said that's rough conduct after he'd disposed of it, so why wouldn't it be 50?
Smith sets it up. Can Tex get a leap? He's up late, Walker. Sydney's ball if they want to play onto advantage. Shaw. Laidler. Cunningham. Heaney. Don't they love Heaney? It's a huge round of applause every time he goes near it.
It was exciting last week, Dwayne, over in Perth, wasn't he? Didn't get a lot of the footy, but he's going to be a star of the competition.
Hasn't had a lot today, just 7 possessions.
Jetta and Rampy.
Mitchell's just come off the bench. He's up on the wing loose. I haven't seen him. Haven't needed to.
Parker can go. Here's Heaney again.
Just too easy. Sydney being able to cut the Adelaide Crows through the centre square there. Too easy.
So McVeigh to deliver.
He's got Reid.
He puts it to Reid in the pocket. Talia got there. Reid with a fist. Talia, well, he read his mind, Kennedy, and then slipped over. McKay shovels it out. Here's the Dangerfield hit.
The umpire said rough conduct after he'd got rid of it.
Just a bit of a bump by Benny.
Actually, he didn't get rid of it. It was just...
we had got rid of it earlier.
General play,
and was running on.
Lyons, we ducked into that. Lays the tackle.
Well, I guess it's not 50 because it wasn't immediately after he had disposed of it. It was another disposal then, but there wasn't a hell of a lot in it, was there?
No.
It's one of those, though, where should you be expecting contact or not? You could argue no.
Parker with the palm down. McVeigh. Well, he ran away from Douglas. To Heaney. Tucked into the pocket.
Jesus, hooked it too far. Missed everything.
What I do like about the Sydney forward line, though, Isaac Heaney came in back in last week. Ben McGlynn back in this week. Gary Rowan potentially back in a fortnight or so. Starting to get their mix right with the forward line. Of course, Tippett and Franklin back in today as well. But the problem has been potentially where are some of the small forward goals coming from? Heaney and McGlynn will be able to contribute to that.
Dangerfield. Richards front spot. Walker can't roll it in. Smith through some traffic. Charlie Cameron has a paddock. Laidler hunts him down. Gets the kick away in time, but it's across the face.
Good chase.
And it's Cunningham's ball out on the full.
Right on Jeremy Laidler.
Smith.
It's about the 5th opportunity they've had to kick a goal from this side of the ground and haven't looked like it.
I think it's a good point you raise about the midfield goal kickers, Brownie, because across the course of this season, Hanbury's only kicked the 9, Jetta's only kicked the 9, and Kennedy's only kicked the 7. So great to see them hit the scoreboard today. Hanbury with a couple, and Kennedy and Jetta with singles already.
Talia heads in the Betts direction, but again, Swans got there first. Knight, Thompson, Sloan resting forward. Parker's with him. Got a fingernail on it. Good battle, one-on-one. Parker flicks it on. Sloan flicks it on. Right, rolls it goal square. Jenkins couldn't get a boot on it. Charlie Cameron, Josh Jenkins got the boot on it. Not 15, can be thumped through. Right, did he get a toe on that?
That is brilliant if he's kicked that.
He likes it.
Confident.
Looked okay from here.
I believe at the behind that it was rushed over.
He thought it was rushed over.
Okay.
Let's hope he kicks a goal here, because that is quick thinking at its best.
One behind.
Good reach.
Please check if in fact it's a goal.
Well, that's a goal.
Yeah, it's a goal.
That's a goal. If he got a toe on it, that's a goal.
Well, he's got the outside of the slipper, I reckon, Jace.
Well, he's moved the momentum of the ball forward. You see it turn after he kicks it.
Oh, that's a goal.
Yeah.
That is a goal. And a ripper of a goal.
And a ripper of a replay to check.
Yep. That's as definitive as it gets.
The set shots weren't working for him, Jace. They were able to Scrounge one from the goal square.
Not sure why it's taking so long.
First replay was pretty clear, I would have thought.
I don't think they're going to pay the goal here.
Well, he moves the momentum of the ball. You see the ball changes its momentum. Oh, my goodness.
So they're saying he's missed it with the boot.
Yeah.
Why was the ball tumbling forward then?
No idea, Dwayne. I had written it in my record.
Oh, well, that's a goal then.
Amazing.
Oh, okay. We'll just continue on with the business. Parker flicks it back. Rampy. Turnover. Lynch. Lead to the pocket. No mark to right. Probably a little dejected at the moment. Standing under it. Laird. Lynch. Good sidestep. Goes with a handoff to Laird in game 50. Hasn't been a great evening so far for him.
No, he dropped a mark moments ago as well. Just had the ball spent before he actually got it.
Here's Franklin. Hasn't had a run of it for a while.
That's better. Outstretched arms.
And
grab.
No need to tell you, he's within range.
Yeah, don't leave. We'll size him up. He's got a taste for him because he's been kicking beautifully tonight. He's only had a few possessions.
So he's got 3. Pushed around a little. If you're not familiar with the Franklin story, he's on the wrong side for a left footer, which is the right side for him.
First touch for the third quarter.
Runs out. Makes the angle look worse. Doesn't bend it back enough.
It's interesting they didn't put a player on his left side then, Jace, when they ran in. I know he's on a tight angle, but...
A lot of clubs have been doing it as we enter red time in the third term.
So 43 points was the margin at halftime, and it's 43 points as we enter time on in this third term. Walker and Richards. Again, Walker with one hand. Jetta had an outstanding first half. Fantastic pick on the run. And the shake and bake was pretty good too. Cunningham, he goes inside. Hanbury, just the required 15. Jack sits it up. Heaney might go up here. Oh, he does. Didn't complete the deal. Franklin, a crumb, opens up for him. Mitchell, he shrugs the tackle. Floats one. Offhand, Smith. Run down, that's a throw.
You know what? Again, they had Mitchell cold with the tackle.
Yeah.
He breaks it, gets the kick away. Should never have happened. Should never have eventuated this one.
Love to see the stats of missed tackles today. The tackling efficiency's been right off the Adelaide Crows. We're in contrast. Sydney's been very good.
And he opens up a 49-point margin.
Yeah, really good forward pressure there. Well done. All set up by the Sydney wall, really. They were able to... Adelaide couldn't get it out of their defence. Sydney were able to have a quick re-entry, but this shouldn't have happened. This should have been a held tackle by the Adelaide Crows. Should have potentially been a turnover. Look at this. Well done. Good desperation by Luke Parker. Couldn't quite get the clean handball away here by Brodie Smith. Just see... Fight for the hand. That's what all the AFL guys are trained to do. Fight for that arm. Causes spillage.
Well, the tackling efficiency is down at 60%, Adelaide. That's just not good enough. That's not going to get the job done.
80% is usually the marker sides try to get to, Jace.
And the Swans haven't been bothered by those tackles. They've continued to dispose of the ball efficiently.
Yeah, Curtis fights on. Dangerfield. Pulled it out the back. Barrels it. Jenkins sees it thumped away. Lynch. Trying to get through the middle, slips the tackle and gives them some sort of hope. He's got 3.
Second for the quarter for Tom Lynch. He's just one of those opportunist types, isn't he? He's a big size, but he doesn't play like a key forward. He doesn't take the contested marks. He runs up the ground, got a great tank, he covers ground, and he comes in almost like a crummer at times, as he does here, front and square, and he does have very good evasive skills.
Yeah, it was a good finish there. Well done. He can play up a little bigger the ground. Walker and Jenkins have both struggled to get their hands on the footy today, but he's still been lively, Lynch.
Three and a half minutes left to three-quarter time. And the bounce is recalled. Sydney Swans began the round fourth. Richmond jumped up, equal points with them, equal percentage on the AFL ladder, so they were both equal fourth. But this will see Richmond down to fifth again, and the Sydney Swans stay fourth, and again let everybody know we're a contender for 2015 on this form.
It amazes me that they can say he dived on the ball.
Cunningham. Richards. Canterbury. Well, the juggler took him probably beyond his range. Tippett's in the goal square. Reed's in the goal square. Top of the square the ball goes. Tippett up early. Thumps it down. Brown. Betts lending a hand at full back at the moment. Scrambling kick towards Jenkins. No one to go to forward. Handballs to his own advantage. Did brilliantly. Now waits for Charlie Cameron. Sends it longer. He's got Walker. Fights hard with the fist. Smith through legs. Richards mops it up. Cunningham back to Grundy. Corralled. Rolls it along the boundary line to perfection and kept in by Jack. No, rolled out in the end. Dangerfield again, still trying hard. Thompson. Josh Kennedy.
The difference in the tackles. The tackles from Sydney create a turnover.
Laird. Lynch. Jenkins is on the lead, but again, it was too far out in front.
Again, dropping it at centre forward there, Dwayne. Sydney's all over this. They can really counter-attack quickly from this position now.
Yeah, they're reading their minds, or they have their game plan. One of the two. Lloyd wide. Too far out in front of Ben McGlynn.
Yeah, pretty disappointed, Benny McGlynn. He had run 100 metres flat stick for that. He was all on his own in space. Deserved a better kick from Lloyd.
Scott Camporelli, not yet sure if he's going to apply for the Adelaide coach's job for 2016, but this is a job interview in essence anyway. Douglas gets under that a little. Cameron up early. Shaw.
Again, look at where the ball's dropping there, Dwayne. Round half forward flank, centre half forward area. Easy counter-attack by Sydney.
Franklin punches down to Tippett. Lever. Looking for options inside rather than outside. Smith wide. Eddie Betts might sit on some shoulders. And he could pounce and go here, Eddie. This is his moment. 55 seconds left. Short pass. Well, he's the hot man, Lynch.
Yep. He's going to take a good kick, though.
Plays on quickly. Spears it to Walker, who hasn't been as accurate.
That's a great pass, but I'm not sure he was back behind the mark when he kicked it.
Can you play on outside the boundary like that?
That's the interesting one.
Does work hard, Tommy Lynch.
Yeah.
Does he? He would have. He's kicked 3 goals at his 17 possessions. He's been the most influential forward on the ground for Adelaide.
Well, he can breathe some life into his team, or he can deflate them with this kick. He breathes some life in. I needed that from the captain.
Second goal there, good captain's goal. Nice finish just leading into 3/4 time, but it was set up by Tom Lynch, who's worked tirelessly across half forward, especially this quarter. See the man there. Is this play on outside the boundary? I don't think so. I think that was just part of his kicking action. I don't think the man on the mark covered it well enough, Jase.
Yeah, but I don't think he'd actually come back in line with where he would have been lined up if he was having a shot for goal. So maybe a little lucky to get away with it, because he certainly didn't kick over the man on the mark. He kicked around him.
Yeah, any spot ahead of the mark, if you take off, is play on it instantly. But they needed a break. They should have got a goal earlier on, we think, to Matthew Wright that wasn't allowed. Dying seconds, third term. They're at least going to win the quarter, the Adelaide Crows. Smith drives it forward. Margin at half-time was 43 points. Right now, it's 37 points. Sydney, 13-9, 87. Adelaide, 7-8, 50. Three-quarter time, Sydney Cricket Ground, and the Swans lead by the magic number, 37 at the last change. And it's been an emphatic performance, really, from the outset. They led by 24 points at quarter time, by 43 at half time. The Adelaide Crows at least did win the quarter and give themselves some momentum heading into the last change. 13-9-87 to 7-8-50. Eddie Betts, we've seen Jeddah, Cameron all showing their support for Adam Goodes. Eddie Betts, with the I support Adam written on his wrist, he contacted Adam Goodes during the week. He did want Adam Goodes to play today. He let Adam Goodes know that he wanted him to play, and he has let Adam Goodes know that he wants him to play as soon as possible. I think most of the Indigenous players have tried to contact Adam Goodes in the last few days. There's Sydney's next four. So Geelong at Simmons Stadium next week. That's a sellout. That's going to be a massive game for both clubs. Collingwood here, GWS, and then a couple of easier games. They've got St Kilda at Etihad Stadium and then the Gold Coast here at the SCG. Well, David King.
Well, just having a look at the live ladder there, boys, and you can see it's all about qualifying position. It's about qualifying for that top four, which they did last year, winning 17 games and finishing top of the table. 15.5 wins the year before to finish fourth. 16 in 2012, their flag winning year to finish third, and they're right on track for their 12th win today, Jace. It's all about finishing top four.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because we've said how ordinary they've been for 2 weeks. A win today, they can win their last 5, make it 6 in a row going into the finals, and all of a sudden a couple of bad weeks where they got monstered by a couple of teams is completely forgotten.
Two pretty handy sides, Jace. Hawthorn and West Coast, absolutely flying at the moment. But the Swans have got their game back today. Lewis Jeddah, he's been a real key for it. They haven't really worried about a matchup all day, the Adelaide Crows, and they've paid for it. He's been fantastic. It's up to about 500 metres gained today, which is the leader, of course, on the field.
So sub still not affected for the Sydney Swans. David King will keep us in touch with that, but I think they have used their sub, the Adelaide Crows.
Well, they're obviously confident that Buddy's not going to do any more damage to the back, and otherwise he wouldn't be out there. No doubt about that.
There's
far too valuable.
Brandon Jack. Sub for the Adelaide Crows is Matt Crouch. He was a late in with Brodie Martin, a late change out for Adelaide.
It's one of those confusing ruck decisions that has the ruckman shaking their heads. Tippett didn't know it was his, and Jacobs didn't know why it was awarded to him.
So out of the game, Riley Knight. Big fly, Tarley, a good plaque over the top of Reid.
And again, you saw Franklin just out the back, waiting. Didn't really want to put the body into a big marking contest. He is definitely just protecting the back.
Jenkins saw a little, don't argue, looked a little high. And the umpire saw it late, waited.
He saw it, Dwayne, he didn't pay it, but then when he saw McGlynn, is it McGlynn?
Yep.
Not getting up, he said, I'll have to pay that.
He's a bit sore too. First fend-off was good.
So they used the circumstantial evidence with a player on the ground holding his face.
He's waving play on after seeing it, but then and look, the right decision is a free kick. It's a high fend, and it caught him in flush in the face.
A bit like that right goal that could have been overturned. Once you see the evidence, you can actually pay the free even though you don't see it first up.
He's a little shaky, Benny, but he's hard as nails, Benny McGlynn. He'll shake that off.
Mitchell squeezes to Hanbury. And here they go with the spread. Players out wide, Rampy.
In actual fact, he's coming off McGlynn, but I'm not sure it's about that. He was limping a bit when he got up.
Hanbury within range, but he doesn't bend it anywhere near enough. Puts it 8 rows back.
He's just come for a little rest, I think, Jake. Chase a shake of the head. He's fine. He's okay. Might have copped a finger in the eye.
It's a good high fend, a good solid one.
Yeah.
He actually limped also when he got up. Not quite sure why.
Henderson. Brodie Smith. And that's dangerous. And that's not the guy you want to give it to either. Franklin.
You reckon? Just behind the man on the mark was Daniel Talia, who looked at the kicker, put his arms up and said, why would you do that to me? Why would you kick it to my bloke in the corridor and just hand him? And now he comes and stands to Mark Talia. He was so flat after that kick.
This is for number 4 for Lance Franklin. Gee, got under it a little.
Oh, missed it.
He pulled the kick.
A bit close to the man on the mark, did he, Dwayne?
Yeah.
Maybe why he lifted it a fraction.
We showed you Sydney's run home, their last 5. Adelaide's got Richmond next week at the Adelaide Oval. That's a massive game. Tigers winning this round against the Hawks. So for Adelaide, next week could be do or die for the Crows. There is Adelaide's next 4. Richmond, Essendon, Brisbane, then the West Coast Eagles, and that last game of the season for Adelaide is against Geelong at Simmons Stadium. So an away game to finish the season for the Crows.
They've got a tough run home.
Pretty high likelihood that last game will be for a top 8 spot, I would have thought.
Yeah, it might be for 8th. Could be an early elimination final. They might have to play for Dangerfield that day. Hanbury, little flick hand pass wide. Well played, Crouch. He's on now as the sub. Jacobs, Douglas, Brown, fend off.
Interesting handball.
Henderson. Kurt Tippett. He's enjoyed it against his old team. Set stale and he misses. Then McGlynn. 3 keys back. McGlynn, Franklin and Richards all back into their lineup this week, the Sydney Swans. Sloan. Hopefully he can get the helmet off and be a bit more confident soon as well after that cheekbone injury.
I think McGlynn's pretty critical as well, Dwayne. Gives him some flexibility with roles. Sometimes he can play as a tagger if needed. We've seen that earlier on this season.
Lloyd inside to Jack. To Tippett. Would have been harder for him to get away from that ball. He looked around and all of a sudden it was there in front of his eyes.
Played big minutes in the ruck today, Dwayne. It's a tough matchup. You see Jacobs struggling to keep up with Tippett inside forward 50.
Yeah, well, Mike Pike's out as well for the Sydney Swans, so...
Good work by Jacobs. He pulled Lynch onto the mark and then sprinted back to get on the goal line. And he might be needed.
Had the distance.
He's been fantastic today, Kurt Tippett. He's had the 5 shots at goals for 3 goals too, but his work in the ruck has corrected the Sydney Swans stoppage game. They've been an average clearance team this year, but today they're +9 in clearances, and that's a big bonus.
22 hitouts to Tippett, 24 to Jacobs.
Yeah, he can do both. He had a 55-goal season a few years ago with the Adelaide Crows, so he can kick big numbers. Kingy?
Not only is it about obtaining first possession, getting your hands on the ball, getting the game going your way. This is when Sydney are at their best, when they can score from stoppages. 6 goals to 3 today is a huge result, and I think that would send a bit of a scare through the competition, particularly the top 4.
McKay wobbles it, but Ted Richards stands and waits. Watches the bounce, Eddie Betts. Couldn't quite. It's been that kind of day for Eddie. The Pied Piper. Kids love him. Infectious smile. In fact, he said, even when I'm down, I've got a smile on my face. That's just who I am this week, Eddie. He's a delight. Flying shot at goal off the boot of Jared Lyons.
Tough for him today, though. The inside 50s, 44 to 31. Sydney's favour, so not a lot of supply for Eddie. Not many opportunities to go one-on-one, and of course playing on Nick Smith, All-Australian last year. He's probably one of the best small defenders, if not the best small defender in the competition, Dwayne, at the moment.
All-Australian, high bomb, Tippett.
Certainly lockdown defender.
Sort of performance they've been looking for Kurt Tippett on a consistent basis, and maybe this will springboard him into a big finish to the season.
It changes everything if he's firing like this. Heaney bounced it inside 50. Good kick on the run. Henderson, Lynch, Hardigan, Walker. Did everything right, then dropped the mark, and now he's gang tackled. Drops it out. McKay, so some space. Not sure about the kick, though.
Horrible kick. Horrible kick.
Smith, Grundy, Heaney.
Interesting just watching the way Taylor Walker's played as well today, Brownie. I'm not convinced he's 100% fit. He's looked a bit slow on the lead in particular, where he started clear, and I know Richards has got good leg speed, but he's reeled him in and he hasn't been able to break free at all. Just wonder if his body's 100%.
That's not the thing that stands out for Taylor Walker. He's so powerful and so quick, isn't he, Jace? He did come to the bench a couple of times today, and he looks like he might be a little bit sore.
Well, Parker floated in front of Franklin. Franklin drew everyone towards him.
That's his specialty when he's up forward, Luke Parker. He floats in from the side. We can see Walker coming off very slowly, and Richards is going to come off with him.
He's very sore, Jace.
Yeah.
I think you're spot on there. He just doesn't look right.
Fit. He's not fit.
I like that from you, Jason. Just Parker sticking his nose in up forward occasionally. Very nice.
He does that so beautifully. He drifts into the side of packs, comes across the front of them. A little bit of Kenny Hunter style for those Carlton supporters from back in the glory days for the Blues. But Taylor Walker, he hasn't moved like a bloke that's at full fitness. He hasn't had that power to lead or the power to use his body. In fact, you'd expect him to out-muscle a few one-on-one contests. Hasn't been able to do that. 7 touches. He's kicked a couple of goals.
Did look pretty sore just coming to the bench then, didn't he, Jace?
And quite often, look, players will play. They know they're not 100% fit, but they go out there to try and do their best for the team. And obviously, as captain, he's feeling the need to do that.
And we don't know how much long-term effect it has had on these players losing Philip Walsh in such tragic circumstances. I know they've won their last couple, but this is a difficult year for these men. Got to be taken into account, really, whatever their ladder position is after 23 rounds. Dangerfield thrown out of it. And is that 50? Umpire blew the whistle twice.
He's having a stint forward, Danger. We have to kick this from just outside 50. And he's up to 20 possessions. So this will be number 21 leading the way for the Crows, but a long way behind a number of Sydney players.
It's unbelievable. 393 disposals to Sydney, 265 to Adelaide.
They've had 9 players with 21 or more Sydney. Dangerfield, with this kick, becomes the first Adelaide player to get to 21.
So from outside 50, across the face, and Jacobs got a fingernail to it and taken out.
Keeps willing himself towards the contest, Patrick Dangerfield, but look at the disposals for Sydney Swans here. 31 to Jared McVeigh, 31 to Hanbury as well. Got some pretty high numbers there. They've been dominant all day long around these midfield areas. McVeigh's led really well, along with his other co-captain, Kieran Jack, who's set up a lot of scoring opportunities for the Swans.
Here's Tippett again. Good contest. Stolen away from him by Smith. And just the required 15 to Thompson.
And this becomes possession 21 for Scotty Thompson as well.
Henderson is within range from there.
He's a good long kick.
I think the Swans have jumped with their sub. We'll go down to David King very shortly for that. Bit of a surprise who they may have taken off.
Oh, I think Ben Micklin got a finger in the eye in that contact in the middle of the ground before, Dwayne. So they've taken him out of the game and Brandon Jack in.
Well, he's got ice above the left knee on the quaddie. Let's hope it's just a cork, nothing else.
Absolutely.
I did say he was limping when he got up after that contest.
Gave it some air on the fall, hit the behind post.
Bit of an exchange between he and Kurt Tippett after that, former teammates. There's Buddy. Is he taking the boots off or just tightening it up?
All 3 of those guys came into the lineup today.
Yeah. So maybe it's a management issue.
I think he's sending a message upstairs, Jace, I think.
Parker. Can't break away. And percentage could be a factor as well for both these clubs, perhaps.
Well, they want percentage, no doubt about that, Sydney. And there's also a Coleman medal up for grabs. Franklin would love to get a couple closer to Josh Kennedy.
Yep. I'll say for both these clubs, even though Adelaide and Geelong shared points, it might come down to them two as to 8th spot and percentage at the end of this year, especially given they play around 23. Here's Brandon Jack on cue. Hanbury. Kennedy, party trick, slips the tackle. Tippett caught. Jacobs gives it up. Still fighting hard, the Adelaide Crows, and a slip by Dangerfield forward. Rampy. Jack.
Been crisp with their hands today, the Swans.
Sits that on the head of Reid. He has to go back and try and retrieve it. Keeps it in the area. And they can reset for a ball in.
Far too easily they've been able to transition from defence today, Jace, the Sydney Swans. They've got that part of their game back going. That wasn't a great kick inside 50. But they've completed a lot of plays from their defensive half today.
Biggest crowd of the year for the Sydney Swans, even though Adam Good's not playing. A many came to show their support for Adam Goods today, 38,690.
Seen a number of these sort of free kicks too, holding off the ball, and a lot of them have come inside the attack. 50 for Sydney, so a lack of discipline for some of the Crows. You can't give away free kicks for this, not in these sort of positions.
15 seconds, Jared.
33 possessions so far for Jared McVeigh. And some more icing on the cake. And listen to this crowd here. He revs them up.
Did give him a bit of a rev up there, didn't he, Dwayne?
Yep.
Fire the crowd up. They need the Sydney Swans fan base right behind them here as they surge towards finals. Of course, the last few weeks has been a struggle, but great effort by the two captains really today. McVeigh and Jack led from the front right from the word go. Their work rate stood out. Their effort all across the ground. Their direction as well. And I think too, their ability to hit teammates within inside 50 and finish off and get on the scoreboard as well has been terrific.
Well, he had just 8 kicks, 8 handballs last week in that loss, Jared McVeigh, but he's got 12 kicks, 22 handballs today, 34 possession game, and now a goal next to his name. Dangerfield helped get it out to Thompson, the half forward. Cameron. McKay. Danger. Crouch. McKay. And marked by Grundy.
He's been pretty good as well, Heath Grundy.
He's back into a little bit of form as well.
It's been in good form since he re-signed that contract for 2 or 3 years, Dwayne. Sometimes guys can slacken off once they've got the security, but...
Do you want to name a few names? Wide ball, Reid. No segue, of course. And Reid goes inside and turns it over to Dangerfield, off and running. He's got Walker in a one-on-one. I'm not sure that Lyons was on the same page. Now Tex is.
Gee, that's a good kick. That is a brilliant kick from Lyons. He got the shock of his life when he turned around and the handball was nearly hitting him from Dangerfield, because Dangerfield had run himself into trouble. He needed to have a bounce, but he didn't have room because he was about to be collared, so he had to give the hand pass. There was no one else to kick the ball to, but Lyons was good enough to adjust, turn, and then hit Walker with a brilliant kick.
15, Dino. 15, go on, Taylor. Kieran, that's your line, mate. Thank you.
So from the 50, didn't look great off the boot, and it just misses to the near side. Smith kicks to a 1-on-2. Brandon Jack is at least fresh. Now he's got 3 around him, Brandon Jack. McVeigh lended a hand. The crowd have just been told they've been part of a record for the year, this crowd. Josh Jenkins. He's got Lever out wide, who can get and go. Every Swan on the ground bar Franklin's in front of him. He heads wide. Good fist away by Rampy. Franklin is still not moving all that smoothly.
Also a big roar too. They just announced there's going to be kick-to-kick after the game.
Nice.
So the crowd's very excited.
That's a regular fixture at the SCG anyway, isn't it? Kids love it. Eddie Betts. 2 Swans collide, Rampy and Grundy. Brandon Jack jumped on. Josh Jenkins' handball smothered by Parker, who did well and got a kick away. Kennedy, Tippett, Kennedy. Open forward line, and only Franklin, who can't run at the moment.
He's only jogging, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's really favouring the back.
Laird. He's shuffling Franklin. He's not even shutting this kick down. Crouch. Almost worth playing with 17 for the last few minutes. McKay inside 50, and it's good to have Teddy back.
And that's another classic case of Richards just ran straight past Walker there.
Jack resting forward. Well, Jetta's moved forward. He's got Parker or Jetta. Sits it up for one of the two. Parker will do. Pounces on it. Opens up the angle. And floats one across the face for a behind. But they're probably a little spent. 23-degree day. Maybe even got a little warmer than that at one stage. And they've had to hammer down from the outset.
I'm not sure they're complaining about the temperature though, Dwayne.
No.
23 degrees in the middle of winter, or coming towards the end of winter, Not bad condition for a player.
We do have to go home, don't we?
Yes, unfortunately.
No, I'm going north. I'll be at the beach tomorrow, Dwayne.
Rub it in.
It's a cold day for Brown.
There's footy on tomorrow. Back to full forward. And Reid couldn't trap it. Through for a behind.
Yeah, of course, Gold Coast hosts the West Coast Eagles tomorrow.
Yeah, and a big one in Perth as well tomorrow night.
That point kicked by Luke Parker came directly from a Kieran Jack disposal, which is his 9th score assist, which is the second highest ever recorded in score assists. He's chasing Stevie Johnson's 11, which is the all-time record.
So 6 minutes and 40 seconds left to add to that. Steve Johnson sitting home a little nervous. Lynch turns inside. Cameron. Betts is there for him in a one-on-one with Smith. He sits it up a little longer than that. Big leap. Betts standing under it. Punch just came past him. Still Eddie. Good turn. Hasn't quite been his day. Sloan. Nice turn. Inside. Led.
Gee, they've missed some goals today, the Crows. Some goal-scoring opportunities that really should have been taken, which would have at least given them a sniff. Made things a lot closer on the scoreboard, even though Sydney's controlled this game from the start.
Scott Camperelli, 232 games and a premiership with the Blues, and 19 for the Bombers. 252 game career. South Australian, of course, from Woodville Torrens initially, at the helm until the end of this year at least. McKay short. I don't think Eddie thought that was 15. I think Eddie's measurement might have been spot on. From the pocket, floats one, and Smith has been superb.
Been great today. Against a lot bigger opponent then in Josh Jenkins, who's really struggled.
Eddie Betts just found himself too far out for the trademark left foot banana across the body. He had to square it up.
If it was to win the game, he probably would have put it through. Short to Parker. It's been emphatic from the Sydney Swans. They've put on a clinic for the fans this afternoon. Jack. And with a bit of luck, they can add Adam Goods to their lineup for the clash with the Cats next week in Geelong. Rampy. Cunningham. They're having kicked the kick now themselves before the fans get out there and have it. Hanbury.
He covers some ground, Dan Hanbury, doesn't he? He's got an unbelievable motor.
Yeah.
He needs a little bit of work.
Yeah. It was a long way down for the half volley. Good handball by Dangerfield to Smith, who shakes Rampy, has a bounce, sends it long. Jenkins.
A good finish there, good mark by Josh Jenkins, but it all came back to Dan Hanbury. Had a lot of the footy again today, 34 disposals, but that was a really sloppy area there. We can see the cross he intended to hit his teammate with. Missed him horribly there. Good clean-up by Dangerfield. And you can see the bottom of the screen, Josh Jenkins able to get in a one-on-one contest. Hasn't had a lot today. Heath Grundy's done a terrific job all day. It's one of the few times that Jenkins been able to get the better of Grundy.
Still 4.5 minutes left. Chance for Adelaide to perhaps wallpaper over a few cracks here with a big finish. Parker.
Oh, great.
Reid.
Really good kick. Kicked it off the outside of his foot.
Hanbury on the run. And he's got it.
It's better.
Now they're just having a little chat here.
Make sure it didn't touch the post.
Yeah, we know what happened last time they did the check.
Score review. Umpire's call is a goal. We just want to check and see it hit the post.
It will be Dan Hanbury's third if it's given the all clear.
Well, we can't be overturning it on that, given that we didn't overturn the last one.
Maybe this one. Ooh, that's close. Still hard to tell, isn't it?
Can't tell. They didn't overturn the previous one, Matty Wright's goal. I don't think they'll be overturning that one, Jay.
It's extremely close.
Yeah, may well have hit, but without Sticko.
Almost looks like there's a deflection there too.
Be ironic if they do overturn this one after the last one.
Well, everyone's set up for the kick out, but that's just going through the motions.
All clear.
To go.
Good finish there by Dan Hanbury. That's the one area of his game that he's kicked really accurately, Jace. He's on goal today, three straight.
His kicking efficiency is down at 57%, but when he's had the chance to hit the scoreboard, he's done it very, very well. 35 possessions and 3 goals. That's a pretty good afternoon's work. Tom Mitchell in all sorts of space, but that was the kick off the outside of the boot to find Reid. Delivers the hand pass to the running Hanbury. Another goal.
Those pictures paint 1,000 words.
It's good to be back in form, isn't it, for the Swans? They're all excited.
So Nankervis into the ruck up early. Parker still tracking it down. He's not done yet. Henderson kept it in front. He's been tracked down by 3, and that's what the pressure does. Caused the turnover. McVeigh. Kurt Tippett couldn't pick it and go. Brandon Jack couldn't. Dangerfield to Douglas. Jacobs wide to Henderson. And some open space. Hanbury's trying to run him down, but he kind of gave up on it. He's left it for Nankervis. And he turned Nankervis inside out nicely. Sits it up for the big Eddie Betts fly. Can't get near it, Heaney.
It's a disappointing kick after the run, isn't it? Needed to at least give one of his forwards a chance to mark the ball.
There's a big score from Sydney. I mean, they've averaged 70 points over the last 5 weeks of football. To kick 16, 14, 110 with still 3 minutes remaining is incredibly positive signs for John Longmire and his troops.
Poor old Sam Jacobs had to chase Kieran Jack there.
They're stalking another one here. Tippett got his sights on the big sticks. Now, was it touched? I think it might have been touched off the boot.
It's well done by Tippett, there. He jumped up with the ball. He kept the ball in front of him. Something we haven't seen at times throughout the year or throughout his career. I love when he gets his big body up there in front of it. It makes it extremely difficult for the defender, and he's been good at ground level today.
Brown to Crouch. Betts. And again, Smith able to shut him down. Cameron caught a little high. Accidentally by Kennedy.
You must know he coat-hanged him, Josh Kennedy, you'd think, wouldn't you? Covering it up by saying it's play on.
Brown.
Jared Hall.
So Dangerfield resting at full forward at the moment. Jenkins in a wrestle. Got rid of Grundy. Hunted down, but good enough. And they are wallpapering over a few cracks here late, the Adelaide Crows.
Second goal of the quarter there for Josh Jenkins. It's been well held by Grundy all day long today. They're both pretty well-built competitors there. Nice bit of body work, though. Grundy went to the wrong side. Jenkins was able to get him out of the way, but the sting's well and truly gone out of this game, that's for sure. Sydney's defensive pressure has started to really drop off here. Both sides, especially the Swans Stars, are looking for the end of this game just to freshen up and get ready for next week. Look at the percentage there. It's a nice little boost. Just get them a little bit clear of Richmond. Got a couple of big games ahead too.
And as mentioned, Richmond play Adelaide next week, so that becomes a monster game for both clubs there. Adelaide's top 4 chances probably gone with this loss. Had they won today, it would have opened up for them. Still a chance to make the finals though, Adelaide. But as we've mentioned earlier, tough run, and the Sydney Swans well and truly in contention as Kennedy goes with a long bomb and more celebration time.
Well, it's another goal to the Sydney midfield. You've got Hanbury's kicked 3, Kennedy's kicked 2, Parker's kicked a couple, McVeigh's kicked 1. They're all getting amongst it. It's been a fantastic performance. Lewis Jetta's kicked 1. He's played up around the wing most of the day. So their midfield has dominated from the start of this match, and they are going to finish it full of running. That is a great finish off a couple of steps from outside 50.
They've had 9 goal kickers today, and Alistair Clarkson recently spoke about that flexibility in goal scoring. It's really important. Get these score involvements up. Leads to a lot of goals. Kieran Jack, 17 score involvements. Really
Which is
impressive.
different to a score assist.
Yes.
So a score involvement is any part of that chain that leads to the score. The score assist is the last possession prior to the score, the one that sets it up.
Mitchell. Tippett leads hard from the square. It's more in Reed's direction. Up, got a hand on it. Still stalking it. Hanbury rolls it out. Brandon Jack. Nope.
But it has been a bit of spread. Sometimes we've certainly been Buddy conscious, and a lot of the scoring has come from Buddy in his time at Sydney, but they'd be pretty happy today with 9 goal scorers. They can get that spread of goal kickers. They're well and truly a chance come September.
McKay to the wing. Dangerfield up. Just thumped clear again. Smith. Crouch. Way too wide for anybody to make use of it. 54 seconds left. Lance Franklin in cotton wool for next week. Just
The 7 possessions. He has kicked 3 goals too, but only been a shadow of what he's capable of today, protecting that back.
Little flick down Henderson. Crouch and McKay, but again missed the target. And they missed a lot of targets early in this game.
Yep.
The Adelaide Crows. Great tackle by Kennedy. Held an arm.
Had to be throwing the ball.
Cunningham. I think both clubs would be quite happy if they blew the siren at this stage. 25 seconds left. He's hoping for no more injuries. And both have a pretty big week next week to prepare for after this. But Sydney back on the winners list. Big percentage boost. And back in the reckoning. Hanbury. Not sure how he got that out, but he got it out. Crouch steals it back. A slip from Laird. And Siren could stop them here. We're down to 6. Long kick. Richards thumps it clear. Dangerfield keeps it alive, and the Siren stops him. And that's the tale of the day. Sydney Swans by massive 52 points. And they make a couple of statements today. One, to the rest of the competition, don't forget about us. And 2, huge statement made to their friend Adam Goods. There's a lot of love in the house for Adam Goods right throughout the AFL world. And a record crowd for this year showed their love for Adam Goods today. Wherever he's watching around the land, hope that will inspire him to come back to football. 117 to 65, the full-time score, and they let it every change. Eddie Betts didn't have his best afternoon at the office, but you could say that about quite a few of the players for the Adelaide Crows today.
Yeah, well done by Sydney. Able to get back into it today. The crowd very happy. See the Adam Goods sign up there. We'll go down to Kingy with Kurt Tippett, who was absolutely fantastic today.
He was fantastic today. He really enjoyed today against the old firm, against the old mob. A lot of mates out there today, but you must be thrilled with your performance in the ruck and forward.
Yeah, it's bittersweet coming up against the old team. I didn't really know how to feel, but I was very grateful to be able to be out there after hurting my hand. So yeah, it was good to come back and put in a solid performance.
What about the support today for Adam Goods? A huge crowd today, biggest crowd we've had here for some time. You know, 7 minutes into the third quarter, the minutes clapping was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic to see, and shows how much respect he's got in this community here, and we're all behind him, and we've been thinking of him this week. And Goodsy, if you're watching, mate, we're all behind you. Look forward to catching up with you soon, mate.
Well said. Go and enjoy the win.
Thank you. Cheers.
Sydney Swans just reminding everyone in the football community that they are still around. Had a couple of stuttering weeks, but they're certainly back with a vengeance today, recording an emphatic 52-point victory over the Adelaide Crows. So the changes continue as far as the ladder is concerned, and it has changed again because the Adelaide Crows find themselves now in 8th spot, but Geelong, extraordinarily at the moment, are in 7th position on the ladder. The Bulldogs still have to play. Richmond fighting for the double chance, but the Swans, by courtesy of that win today, giving themselves just a little bit of breathing space. But it's a